folks, Jonathan here. Here's our tree. That's all that's left. Ain't much at all. One piece and, well, one little chunk. So I think it'll sit there and smolder away and burn up. So this will be, this evening will be day 3. 3 full days of burning. And we had another big rainstorm last night. Thunderstorm and all, so you know, you don't put it out, it just keeps right on burning. So anyway, this will be the last of it. Now this is bad enough. Now I could take the skid steer and get rid of it real quick, but we're just gonna let it go till it quits. All right, so now, okay, I brought our stainless poles, or steel poles with stainless covers, up to the shop so we can start cutting them off. And I brought the long piece, the 20-footer up. It's gonna be the center. We're gonna cut this off. This was some kind of track or something. So we're gonna cut that piece off, and then we're gonna cut this to length. And let me see, I think I've got what? We have 1 cut on here and then 4 cuts there, so that's 5. And then there's 8, 9, 14 cuts at least. And maybe more than that. So I went and bought this chop saw. I used to have a chop saw, but I haven't had one in a long time. And so went to Harbor Freight, better known as Hobo Freight, but no offense to the hobos, I happen to like the hobos. This is a 3.5 horsepower. They had a 2 there, but they were out of them. They were 89 bucks. This one's about 109, I think, for the 3.5 horse, which probably better off anyway, but I don't know that it'd make any difference. You know, when it comes to Chinese made stuff, it's pretty much all junk. And I'm assuming that this is Chinese. Got 6 new blades with it. I don't know if it comes with a blade or not. It has been CAT scanned and approved from the outside anyway. So I didn't want to bring none of my saws out here, and this stuff is kind of awkward and heavy and big, and usually you can pick it up, you know, bring the saw to the work. And so I figured I'd just give it a try. We're going to get to cutting on this thing, and I don't know how to do through this stainless and this steel. That's 1/4 inch. So, I mean, this is not light stuff we're dealing with. This is actually really heavy stuff. Everything I'm working with here is way heavier than probably what I need or what should be, but it really don't matter. So let's get at it and make 4 of these. It's the right length. All right, folks, if this is the 3.5 horse, I'm sure glad I didn't get the 2 horse. It's gonna be slow. You know, I had one of these, what's called a Everett, and it was a 7.5 horsepower 3-phase, and it would chop through that thing like it was nothing. But my phase converter wasn't enough to operate it. So anyway, we'll make do. It's just gonna take some time. That last little bit there, it gets hot. I probably should have turned it or something, but it's kind of hard to do because there's flat plates on the other end of the pipe. So that's our, as you can see, I left it as long as I could leave it. That's our shortest pipe. So we're going to get a measurement off this, and then we'll cut the other 3 the same length, and then that part will be done. We can move on to the next thing. All right, I guess we're doing all right. It's taking a long time, but I'm still on the first blade. That's the good part. The bad part is this is going to take a long time. So anyway, way it goes. So got 2 cut, got 2 more of the round posts to do, and we'll get away from these round ones anyway. All right. Okay, folks, so I'm impressed, not really with the saw, I'm impressed with the blade. As you can see, that's not thin, and then we're cutting through the stainless too on, you know, the other pipes. There's the blade. They're only, I guess, $4.97 a piece, $5 a piece. And then there's what I got left of the first blade. I think I can cut all 4 pipes with 1 blade, and that's actually doing something pretty good, because like I said, it's 1/4 inch, and then it's got the stainless on the outside too. So I'm not going to complain about that. And it seems like it's cutting faster, and probably because as the blade gets smaller, it's going to have more power, because it don't have to turn such a big, you know, diameter of a blade. So Anyway, we'll get the last one cut. We can move away from this part of the deal, which I don't mind getting away from. It's hot out here. It's probably 100 degrees, so humidity's terrible, so we're making it. All right. Okay, so all 4 legs are cut. Just go through cutting this pipe. This was, let me see, 8 foot 2 inches. So we cut it 4 foot 1. 2 pieces, 4 foot 1. We're going to put these on the ends of my other 4x6 that I've got, and that'll make 2 matching pieces. That one's going to be center, and these are going to be the 2 outsides, and then the legs are going to come up and weld on these. So if you don't understand what I'm doing, you will by the time I'm done. So anyway, now I don't think I'm going to cut the plates off the ends. I don't need to really. I'm just going to leave them on there. And for now anyway, we can always torch them off later. But I've got to get a piece of angle so I can put on and clamp it so they'll be straight. Depending on what I was going to do next, these are ready to weld except grinding, of course. This I'm just going to grind. I'm not going to worry about cutting the ends off right now or nothing like that. I mean, I could straighten them out, but it's not that big of an issue. Or I may do that after I get these together to get the length exactly right or something. So now I've got a bunch of 4x4 that are a little over 7 foot, something like that. We're going to take the shortest one and we're going to cut angles on both ends of it. And because when I set this up, if you understand it, I'm going to set this on the concrete and we'll get it completely level. And then I'm going to come over here about 7 foot and I'm going to set my 4x6 tubings up. But I'm going to bring them 6 inches off the ground, okay, or approximately. And then I'm going to level it. We'll do the same thing on this one over here, and that way when I cut my my rafters, there's going to be 4 of them, and at the ends they're going to go from pole down to here. So we're going to cut angles on the end of each end of them. So we've got to cut every one of them. There's going to be 4, so there's going to be 8 cuts, and we've got to figure out what angle we're going to do it at. And you know, 6 inches at 7 foot, you know, is not much rise, but you know, I'm not in a area where we get snow or anything, so we don't have any weight really on our roofs, so that's not a big issue. And anyway, so that's the plan. I think I'll go ahead and get the 4-inch squares and bring them up here and start figuring out an angle and go ahead and start cutting them. Okay folks, here's my 4x4 pieces, and I got 4 of them, or 3 of them that are 95, and then I got 2. I got this one, and I got one more down there that's only 88. So I think I'm going to go ahead and add to it, because you figure if it's 6 inches on each side, that's going to give me a whole extra foot of building. So we want to go as wide as we can go. So I think I'm going to add to this one and right here, and then we're going to get the ends cut on these. Okay folks, I decided on 5 degrees. That was going to put me about where I want. So I'm going to cut both ends, cut them all 4 at the same length. I'm going to have to add to the one. Take a little longer, but that's okay. I am going to go ahead and swap blades out. And I'm not changing them because that one's wore out. It's just the fact that I'm cutting 4-inch and it don't quite go through it all the way. And it's going to be easier just to change it out, and I'll save this blade for something different, because that's no longer a 14-inch blade. It's probably about a 12-inch blade. So we'll swap her out and go from there. Impressed with the blades. Not real impressed with the saw. I guess it does fine for what it is. It could definitely have some more power. I'm glad I didn't get the 2 horsepower. So, all right, I'm just going to continue to try to get all this stuff cut. I got to go eat, come back out, maybe to cool down in just a little bit, and come back out and hopefully can get it all cut. Maybe start welding it all together in the morning, and I get a little longer working day here tomorrow. All right. Okay, folks, got all the pieces cut. 5 degrees on the ends of every one of them. The one that was too short, I'll cut a piece to make it long enough, and I'll have to grind it and weld it. These welds have got to be really good, because we're going to flip this thing over, and it's a lot of weight because this is thick steel, so we'll just see what happens. But anyway, all the cutting is done. Everything is cut. Now as for the chop saw, out of 10 I'd give it a 6 maybe. It don't have enough power. Let me see, it's still not a sturdy built saw, but I mean, you get what you pay for, so I'm not complaining about the quality for what I paid for it. I'm just saying that, you know, if you want a nicer saw, go ahead and pay the extra money and get a nicer saw, because these are cheap made. And as for the blades, like I said, them were Harbor Freight blades. I give them a 9 out of 10, and maybe even a 10, because I'm still on the second blade. And the only reason I changed it is because it got too small. Now we're cutting this 1/4 inch, all this 1/4 inch wall, and let me see. I think this is 3/16 wall, the blue stuff. That's 1/4, and these 1/4, and then them round pipes were 1/4 plus had the stainless on them. So, you know, that's not light cutting. I mean, that's pretty heavy cutting. So I'm really impressed with the blades. Didn't think they'd last like that. I bought 6 of them with the intention of hopefully, you know, getting by with them, but maybe having to go get back and get more. And looks like we're basically done with all the cutting. So tomorrow morning early, I'm going to get to Welding, and we're going to start putting things together. But for now, I think I'm going to go take a ride. There ain't no better way of cooling off than get you the wind in your hair, I guess, in your beard. How about that? Alright folks, I'm going to show you that tree for the last time. She's a goner, nothing left. So, take my skid steer, and in just a couple of seconds it'll look like nothing's ever been here. So we got that taken care of. Early morning, we're going to get started back on this building and see if we can get something welded together here. Okay folks, here's what we've got. We're getting ready to put 2 of the 4x6s together. Got it clamped up, and as you can see, I didn't V it, so I left a pretty good gap here, about an 1/8 inch. And now I'm going to burn that in with some really high heat and get it, you know, I'm not going to play around with it. I'm really going to put the heat to it, put a bead on it, and we'll get it to flow together good, because this is a pretty critical part, just like everything else is when you're doing structural. All right folks, first weld done. We're going to try to complete all these welds and not just tack stuff together, because it's permanent. Well, we've got some of it welded together. I just ran out of wire. I got extra argon or Unimix, but I didn't think I needed wire, but I think I got to go get some. Okay folks, I wanted this to be all in one video, but it looks like we're going to have to make 2 out of it. Between the heat, running out of wire, doing some other things I needed to do, I was wanting to get this finished today and just couldn't do it. But I tried hard. The heat worked on me pretty good also, but running out of wire didn't help a thing. You know, to get wire and come back, it was a 50 mile trip. And I took the 5 coupe, and I don't drive over about, you know, 55, 60 at the most with it. So anyway, so welded together. Like I said, that's cut at 5 degrees. And comes uphill. It's 6 inches higher here than it is there. That's going to give me my roof pitch. I've got the post welded on, and it's all welded all the way around. And then I ended up there. Well, I'll show you in a minute, but I put brake pucks up there that I had that was left over from, well, I don't reckon they were left over. There was just stuff that I hadn't used. It's done welded down here. There's 2 of the brake pucks I was talking about. I just cleaned them up, welded them on, made sure I didn't breathe it. This one is welded on and done. So tomorrow we can finish this up. I don't see any reason why we won't have it done tomorrow, pulled out and flipped over. Now, for now, I'm just getting this frame done, getting it in place. I'm not going to worry about the tin or anything else. We're probably going to have to add some stuff in here. You know, I've got the gas stick welder. We can do some more welding on it if I need to or something like that. But anyway, the point is it's pretty much together. Half of it, exactly half of it. So we're going to get started on the other tomorrow. Okay folks, so tomorrow when we drag this thing out, and I'm going to use the wrecker I think on one end and the forklift on the other end, and we start flipping this thing around and trying to flip it over, that's going to really test them welds and see how well they do, because this thing is heavy. There's a lot of weight here, all 1/4 inch, you know, about everything on it's 1/4 inch, just about. So nothing smaller than 3/16. But so anyway, we're going to see what happens and hopefully it'll all go well. All right, so till tomorrow, appreciate everybody watching. Till next time, bye.